Okay, the work session of the town board, July 10th, 10 a.m. All members present except Mr. McCarthy. Okay, I'll just give you a little background why I wanted to call this meeting. I guess about 3-4 weeks ago, a fellow called me from Helen Avenue. There's a burnt-down house on his block that's been there for 4 years. Martin Simon, our attorney, was aware of the house and was in contact with the owner, who just continues to say he has no money. Is this the house?
This is 30 Helen.
Okay. Then subsequent to that call, and I had a couple of conversations with a gentleman who complained, then I got a call from a lady, also, I believe, in Wisconsin, where the house was secured, boarded up. However, the pool was still laden with water and generating all kinds of vermin and mosquitoes. Thanks to Martin Simon, the foreclosure company finally hired a contractor to either drain the pool or fill it in. My conversations with Martin Simon, who was our attorney, as you all know, said that he had 21 houses here of a potential and commercial that were a potential safety hazard. Now, we all know what the code is, and John, you correct me, our town attorney, that code could be read if the house is unsafe, that the town has an action it could take. Am I correct, John?
Correct. And section 115 of the code, authority to remove or repair, there's one sentence, section 1 says, the town board may provide for the removal or repair of buildings and businesses, industrial and residential sections that, from any cause, may now be or shall hereafter become dangerous or unsafe to the public.
Okay, so to determine that, we would require an inspection by the
That is correct.
department?
There's a process in section 115 which involves, after section 1, which I just called, building department does inspections and report. We serve notice to the owner representative. We set a time to secure or remove. It talks about in section D, file a copy of notice in the office of the county clerk. And they talk about in Article 65, civil practice law. I'm sure John could fill us in on that. Hearing before the town board, removal by a town if the owner fails or refuses, and assessment of all costs. Those are the sections in section 150.
Okay, but tell me if I'm wrong. My recollection is that you would have to be ordered by the town board by resolution?
Correct. Well, yes, you'd have the hearing, and then the town board would say the building department to proceed to remove, get estimates to remove.
But first, before we'd have the hearing, we'd have to have an inspection, and
Correct.
You'd make a declaration.
That is correct, that we are considering the building unsafe, and there are different reasons for considering unsafe. Of course, structural would be one of them, but we could consider a building unsafe for other reasons, and some of the other reasons could be sanitary reasons, maintenance reasons, dilapidation, obsolescence, abandonment.
You got this package of 21?
Yes.
Yes.
And you have additional ones?
No, mine are in there. I brought
Okay.
8 of them in my other books. I was
Okay.
trying to, and we took pictures just the other day, and that's one of them, of course.
So would we, John, the other John, would we have to, by resolution, which I think, if the board agrees, we could do it today, direct him to inspect these 21 edifices, if you will?
You don't need a resolution to direct it, you need a resolution to take, he can prepare reports for you, and then after that, you can then, if you decide you want to proceed further, then you would do a resolution for the specific structure.
And we proceed further based on his
Reports.
recommendation?
Yeah, I just, simply, if I might, I had done a memo to the board regarding the high tower home has also outlined this process, and really what you're looking at is the public safety, health, welfare issues, and that's really what it's designed for, and
I have it in my note, I'll go by.
but if you remember, Supervisor, in my prior stint here as town attorney, we had gone and taken care of, there was a Chinese restaurant, Henry's.
Yeah, I do
Smoke.
remember that, yeah.
So it's pretty much, nothing has changed in terms of how you proceed. It's a determination of whether structure is unsafe to the health, safety, welfare of the
This is that
residents.
Chinese restaurant.
And then the town board would have a hearing, and then based upon that, the town board would direct appropriate departments or private enterprise, as the case may be, to take action to demolish, remove, or secure. So if we were just to go along with the current statute the way it is, there's nothing that's really changed. It's just that I think the economy's gotten such that it's affected a lot more houses than it was in the past.
But we
Correct.
were always under the impression, John, unfortunately, that you had to determine whether it was structurally sound. That was always what the
Well,
guideline.
In section 112, it talks about what is unsafe, and it
Okay.
breaks down unsafe into those other items I mentioned. Again, if it's obsolescence, items like that, not just structurally
Okay.
unsound. Sanitary, abandonment, safe or secure.
So you could make your determination, a determination of unsafe based on any one of those criteria?
That is correct.
Not just structural?
That is
Because I
correct.
think that's where I think where we've had some confusion is, we've had abandoned homes that property maintenance, weeds are up over the roof, some of the structure is dilapidated, property line fences are down, rodent infestation, things of that nature, but then there have been times when we got the response back that, well, the structure's not unsafe, so we can't take an action.
And-
We need to be on the same page with that.
Correct. And where I get that from is section 11225, unsafe buildings. In paragraph A, it breaks down, one of them, of course, being structurally unsafe.
Right, correct.
The other, I call it criteria for calling a building unsafe.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to really, nothing because it's a public forum, but I want to commend Marty Simon of your office, who was very diligent on this stuff, and kind of reread that code and determined what you just said, that there's an unsafe part of it that we might go on.
Unsafe, and in unsafe, there are subsections of that unsafe.
We have not in the past used that, have we?
No.
That is correct.
We haven't,
No,
no.
because that has been a
You are
bone of
correct.
contention.
And thank you, Supervisor. I'll pass along to Martin, but as you know, we did that at my direction, so, but that was what I was concerned about, is just to make sure the board was fully apprised of what to do. The High Tower Home was the one that prompted it, and, but I will pass along to Martin if he doesn't watch it on TV.
So, just for clarification, Supervisor, I think what we're talking about is, you're gonna go out and do a reinspection under the new criteria, if you will, the additional criteria,
Safety
abandonment, et
criteria,
cetera,
yeah.
and come back with a new assessment on each 21 structures, then we would sit down as a board and make a decision on which way we go.
And just if I might, it's not new criteria, it's always been dangerous or unsafe, so it's not new criteria.
Right.
It's a question of how kind of it was viewed in the past. But-
Correct.
But I
Yeah,
think,
but because we have had situations in the past, as John knows, use the High Tower as an example, where we have sent public safety out, and they have determined that it is an unsafe structure. And then we send building out, and building in the past has said, no, it's not unsafe.
Correct.
All right, now, you're saying now we can use
Well,
other criteria.
building, and I've done it myself, so, but in past, building has looked at the building
Right.
for its structural issues. So
Mm-hmm.
the answer is yes. And John is also correct. Those other things I've mentioned, the maintenance, dilapidation, obsolescence, abandonment, have always been there. But building apartment, even though I was here before, we looked at it for structural soundness, that if it was not immediately falling down, it was safe in that purpose.
In that purpose.
But
Understood.
now that we've made a determination that that is a broader view of that code, then we will here today direct you
That
to
is
go make
correct.
inspections of these buildings to
And report
determine their
back to the
safety.
board. And there's a procedure in section 115.
Well, let me finish, and you said there were more than these 21, do you have?
Well, no, the ones I brought
Oh,
8
part
of
of
them
the
with pictures,
21.
they're in your packet.
So we can direct you without resolution today.
Correct, I'd ask John to.
John.
Right,
you don't need
You don't need
resolution.
Right.
Okay.
It's only, you direct him to go out and assess
Do the
the properties, he'll
inspection.
prepare a
Okay.
report, and then if you're gonna take further action on it, you
On
need
the
a
report.
resolution on the
Do that.
report. And just, Article 65 talks about enforcement proceedings, injunctions, and that type of relief, when, that's one of the reasons why I put that provision in, the town board adopted with respect to town attorney's office, because we have summonses pending, I can get that relief immediately without having to come back from the town board resolution in district court matters only.
Okay. Do you have any kind of time estimate, John, on how long it would take to look at these
to
plans?
do all 21, I'll have my inspector start to work on them tomorrow. So I'll say a week, about 5 working
Okay,
days.
but there's another aspect to that. I think the people in the back mentioned the home on the block.
I will check up building department
Yeah.
records when I get back to
So
the
the point, I
office.
guess, is we ought to give them a broad, for example, if a call came to the council office about a property, then you check with the board members and say, fine, let's go out and look at that one. And as they come in,
Correct.
it'll just be an ongoing process where the building department will have to inspect this
Correct.
and give us a report.
Some of these, a resident may have called, or it may be, have been looked at by public safety.
Okay.
With building not knowing, where
Okay.
they're thinking, quote unquote, it's being investigated. And say if they called us, we would say we're not aware of anything. But meanwhile, public safety has been on, or vice versa, of
And
course.
Supervisor, I might make a, there was a house on Gibbs Pond Road, I think it's 451 Gibbs Pond.
With the pool,
Yeah,
Yes.
and I had gotten a call from a local news station about it, and the last time that case had come up was, I think, in 2010. So for, as far as the town was concerned with building and public safety, there were no complaints against the property for almost 2 years, but now it's come back, and I think that is one that was on the list of 21. but I
And
thought-
just to update you on that one, because my inspector was there yesterday, there is a bank involved. The bank has been cooperating. My inspectors called the bank. There were two issues. One was the swimming pool, in-ground
Yeah.
swimming pool. One was regarding the deck. They have already taken care of the deck and made it safe. They said by the end of this week, they will address the pool either by doing, say, a loop lock type cover or pumping the pool.
or
So all
they
my-
contracted a company.
the bank has said they will address the pool. One part, they have already have addressed. He was out there yesterday.
But I will tell you, and I guess you might know, all of you know it, you don't always get that kind of
That
cooperation.
you were correct.
Right, we don't.
Some of these banks exist in Iowa and California,
Totally agree.
and they're
But then we'll use your processes to go from there once the report is in.
so then I think that's what we're going to do.
I just wanted to bring up one
Sure.
item is regarding costs. I just wanted to be sure the boards are aware and then say to what extent. I've been talking to other towns and what they do. And for example, one, of course, they would have money in the budget for it. Two, what they'll do is, they'll do a bid out, but they work, I want to say hand in hand, meaning they provide the dumpsters, but the demo company does the demo. The town then brings it to a landfill. Now, there are issues that, again, we need to consider. Say the town board directs that this house should be demoed. Is it asbestos? Again, of course, the cost of that goes way high. Where is the town going to bring the asbestos? Do our landfills have that application, or we have to now bring that out of town to another
Well,
site?
I would think, John, that the bid that would go out
Right,
would have those items
Right.
included in the bid.
right. I just wanted to, that there are, we have to look at it. If the town was going to be doing the demo or directing the demo, we have to do it as if we're the applicant who just walked across
Correct.
the
Understood.
building part, meaning we would file a permit. We would need, of
But
course.
but I'm going to interrupt you. I don't think we want to do that anymore.
what?
We don't want to go and send the Parks Department out to.
Oh, no, no, but I'm
Right,
just
right.
saying, what I'm just saying is
We're
the
gonna go-
procedure would be the same, meaning you make sure your utilities are cut off. An asbestos report, if not, and we couldn't get one, what they have to do is they call it a controlled asbestos abatement, meaning they have to get dumpsters and have to be lined and have to be brought to a special landfill. So I just
But
want to
wouldn't you
make the
think,
board
John-
aware of that.
Right, but wouldn't you think that a demolition company is aware of?
Oh, yeah, no, I just want to make the boards aware.
No,
The
we
demolition
understand.
companies
You're
aware.
saying that
It's
if
gonna
we,
be an
if we
additional cost.
determine and order a structure to be demolished.
Right.
Demolished, the successful bidder has to come in and make application for all the
That
permits
is
as if he
correct.
was doing it on his own.
That is correct.
I understand.
Right.
Now, from inspection to action, you said a week, 2 weeks?
Well, the way, right, and the procedure I see in section 115 is, again, say number one's already been done, the town board has given me thing. We would do building department, inspection report. Building department would have to serve notice to the owner representative. Building department would have to set a time for that person to secure or remove. Then a file copy of the notice, as we just talked about in the county clerk, and John talked about that Article 65. The board, I guess, would have to then give a hearing date and give the
Yes.
person the opportunity to speak. Removal of the building if the town, if the person fails or refuses, and then the assessment. So is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And I
7,
misspoke.
eight-step
And
procedure.
I misspoke, Article 65 deals with the notice of penalties getting filed against the property.
John,
Yes, sir.
both Johns. We need to come to a conclusion what an adequate time frame is.
Correct.
Once notification is made, a time frame for the property owner. I suspect in many cases it won't be a time frame, and we're not going to, so In the past, what have you used, 20 days, 13, 50 days, 30 days, 10 days?
What we can do is, we could give, say, a 3-week period. We would have to send it out registered or certified mail, as we would do for a stop work order, and give the person the opportunity, of
Okay.
course, to get back to us.
Now, we're also gonna run into complications such as Hightown, where the owner of the property is in jail.
Yeah,
And that's gotta be dealt with. We have to,
Well, we've already
This
served
is-
him, we've served him with summonses in jail, actually.
okay. Because this property is, amongst others, is so egregious, it's unbelievable. It's,
But I also think what you might take a look at, and I don't know how long these properties have been on this list and how long the list has been around for, so.
This list is approximately a year and a half old.
Okay. So, yeah, probably 3 weeks is a reasonable notice time, is usually what you go by, John?
All right.
now,
Just
could
one
I
of
just
the-
ask a question about something that may not be apparently unsafe? So where a property is strewn with weeds, high weeds, where vermin can hide, could that be determined unsafe?
That's really a property maintenance.
property maintenance.
And public safety has historically handled
Correct.
property
That would be a
maintenance.
problem, okay.
And again, through the district court, we can issue summonses, and town will have to decide if a property needs to be addressed quickly and you're not getting a response because of the property maintenance issues, then we can go to district court, get an order from a judge, then go on the property and assess those costs against the town. My suggestion would be, and maybe the town board wants to consider just doing a blanket memo or come to my office, however you want it handled. Any work that's done on these properties, every department who does work on them should keep a time log
Well,
for the
they do,
time.
they have done that in the past, they do,
Okay. This way you can assess those costs against the property.
okay.
There are some properties that have appeared on this list that have been addressed properly. For example, there's property at 735 Route 25A in Kings Park, which was an old tavern. When we began to summons the owner of this property, it's in the condition that you spelled out, Pat. It's
Yeah.
not really
Yeah,
falling apart. The owner of it completely redid the outside of it so that it looks like a fairly attractive building. It's an empty building, but it doesn't look like an empty building. They have taken the steps to correct the problem, at least in a holding action. So we've had limited success with some of these. That one was fairly well done.
John, I see on some of these, it says no current violation as it pertains to the existing code. Are they referring to this code?
It would probably be section 112.
Something different? Okay, I think we're on the right page here.
Agreed.
Closing your court.
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to speak, but I will ask you, when we leave the meeting, what house you're complaining about, and we'll add it to the list. The same with the other gentleman. Okay?
Yeah, anybody that's sitting here that has something, let us know, let's make sure it's on the list when we start.
Okay, then I'll move to close the meeting. We're all straight here?
Yep, second.
Good, thank you.